So I was a huge proponent of blockchain technology, Bitcoin. And a few days ago, a lot of people's cold storage wallets, which is supposed to be the gold standard of self custody with Bitcoin, these people had their life savings just completely drained. Uh, and you think that, like, you think you're safe. They did all the right things, man, and they got hacked. And it's like, where are you safe to put your assets at this point? Are you safe to put, just save a bunch of money and put it in the bank? No, because the government is attacking your money. It's also attacking your debt because they keep printing out more money. Do you feel safe with your 401ks with the stock market because it can crash? Let's say you're about to retire and it crashes. A lot of people in 2008, when people, they seen their assets just dwindled. Now it gained, but if you're retiring and you're banking on that, and you see your assets just dwindle to basically nothing, not nothing, but way less than it was, then it's like, what the hell? No, you can invest in silver and gold. Yeah, but somebody can come in your house and steal it. And it's just like, can we just like, given all the technology, all these AI gurus and tech bros and all these people with all these great ideas, and they want to talk about robotics and everything, Elon, everything's gonna be free, basically, high income, UBI, but whatever, man. Like I said in a couple videos ago, I just want to go to work, whatever that may be. I want to have my bills all taken care of automatically. Like, we shouldn't, our like bills should be stable. Okay, we shouldn't have these fluctuations, these wild fluctuations. I'm tired of this shit. The last thing I want to think about is this crap. Is the finance. Oh, you're gonna grow up. Dude, you know how complex this shit is compared to like back in the old days? Back in the old days, you can just save up cash and not have to really worry about it, and you'd be fine. Now you have to think about all these different threats, and everything's a gamble. I just want to go to work, have all my bills and taxes taken care of. I don't want to go and I don't want to go to the DMV and register my vehicle. I just want to have AI have it taken care of. Whatever, just take care of it. We need stability. Like, we need prices to stay. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Is like the prices keep going up on everything, and they're not going to stop because the government keeps printing money. They are, and then we have to go with these booms and busts. Like, why do we have to deal with this crap? I just want some stability, and I'm being told, oh, capitalism is the best. When I'm just looking at capitalism. I'm like, yeah, it's great for rich people because you guys always win. But the people like us are just, we're going to work and we're not being able to, like, a lot of people are in my position where it's like you're kind of living check to check. You work your butt off, there's no catching up for the wages because the inflation keeps happening from the government. And the government, yes, yeah, like, well, who controls the government? It's the rich people. All these politicians listen to the rich people. They don't care about the people anymore. So it's the rich people the one controlling all this crap. Like, I don't want to sit here and worry about my income tax at the end of the year. Just do what you gotta. Just take the portion out that is supposed to be taken out. You know, I want to be able to go to work and then flip up an app that show like, oh, I get paid for what I've done by the second. I can like flip open the app during work and say like, oh, this is how much I've accumulated. Um, it's like, okay, if I leave now, then I'm gonna stop it. But if I keep working, it gives me a reason to keep working through the day. I don't want to sit here and be like, work this overtime, and then, you know, if you're bi-weekly, you don't even see that for like 2 weeks. So it's like, it's hard to be motivated to want to work more when you don't really see the, if I see that I'm acquiring whatever that may be, man. I don't really care if it's fiat. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. I don't care if it's a social credit thing. I don't care. I want it to be safe, secure, and it could be a combination of things into one entity. I don't know, like my social credit score. Yeah. I just want it to be safe. I don't want to think about it anymore. Like, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I go to work. I follow the laws. You know, I don't want to have to worry about, oh, the privacy. Like, I don't care. What privacy do I have? My TV is probably watching me. You know, obviously I'm making videos. I know I'm being recorded right now, but I don't know if my camera gets turned on my phones at any time. Like, they already watch all my searches. So it's like, what privacy do I really have? I mean, you take your phone in with you to the bathroom. A lot of people, you know, sit on the toilet on their phone, and you could be being recorded. You don't even know. So like, how do we know we even have privacy anyway? And it's just like, I just want things to be easy. Yeah, everything is just, everything's a risk. It feels like a casino. I want to know that, I feel like, I want to know that whatever assets I don't use, currency, whatever the hell whatever the hell we need to go to, that I can build so I can use it for later if I want. I need to be able to save it in a nice, secure place where people, if they stole it, it wouldn't do nothing because it's attached to me. So like, it can't be stolen anyway. I don't care about the damn digital ID. I don't care about, like, I just want to be treated fairly. I want to be compensated correctly for what I do for work. I'm tired of having like all of these threats. This is what I'm saying. It's so exhausting just to be alive. It's exhausting. You know, for me, I'm completely self-sufficient. I really don't need. It would be nice to have a woman in my life, but like, I don't really, like, I'm surviving, and I've taught my sons to survive, to be able to, you know, take care of themselves, because I can see the opposite sex, they don't want to be, you know, supportive. You know, they have made themselves to be basically one thing, one dimensional at this point. You know, and I look at them and I'm like, I don't see a future with you. I don't see a long-term future with you. And that's how I look at like everything nowadays. Everything is like, what's the long-term future? You know, you think you're trying to do everything the right way and you get screwed over. Let's say you buy some type of technology that China makes. And then what does the government do here? They ban it. So like you spend all this money buying this technology that it got banned here. Now you can't even like it's like, dang, man, like what you want to participate in the evolution of technology, but like it's such a wild west with all this. And I want stability. There's not enough stability. It's such a cutthroat environment. And I'm a regular person, you know, I realize like I'm never going to be rich, and I'm fine with that. I accept that. But I want like my hard work to not be destroyed. Whether it's a government or somebody stealing it. It's like, why are we investing in all of these wars when we can be investing in technology that makes things abundant, that makes energy abundant, that makes resources abundant? You know, our government has made it so we have all these people dependent on the government. So then I guess we need to sit here and make things more abundant. Like we need to insulate ourselves from these stupid crashes. But no, we have to have like our overlords have to always be in control. It's like, dude, why, man? Like just like I basically just want we're at a time is so it's so short-term thinking. Let me get all I can out of this quarter. And like you're sitting on abundance anyway. Like if I had a ton of money, let's say not a ton. Let's just say I had like I could take down like $500 million in some like resources. I could take down these big video game moguls one by one. But nobody is. And there's companies that have all these resources and they don't do anything. But this goes for a lot of different sectors that are just monopolizing everything. And all the while our government's supposed to be breaking up monopolies, but they're content with the monopolies. You know, I'm tired of hearing this is what's going to happen. I don't really care because I don't see it. All I see is control, which, hey, listen, I have no problem. I like law and order. I think most of us need to have, all of us need to have laws, obviously, but some, there needs to be consequences. I'm not like, oh, you can just do whatever you want. Listen. We can definitely have places where people can feel more free, but we need places where people, listen, I don't really care about having guns as long as I don't have to worry about my security. Like the people in Spain, how they're being invaded. Well, it'd be nice to have guns. Well, your security, your army should take care of that for you. Like that shouldn't happen. All these people just coming over, flooding in. They don't understand first world laws and all this and that. They kind of have to be filtered in, man. They have to be educated. They have to be, you can't just throw these people from a third world into a first world and think that everything's going to be like hunky-dory. They're going to just get all of the stuff that we're doing. Like, they're not, things are completely different from where they come from. And they're not just going to know everything, the unspoken, rules. They're not going to know that. When you live in a first world, you're conditioned already. You kind of know because you're being raised. You're raised in an environment. But if you're not raised in that environment, you don't know. So if I was thrown into a rich person's environment, hypothetically, and they sit there and have their little table manners and their etiquette, and they use this specific fork for that thing and that salad, and I'm just sitting here using my one fork for everything, and they're looking at me like I'm a Neanderthal because I don't know. And that's the same thing when you throw third world people in a first world country, and it's like you have to you have to educate these people how things are, and they have to live that in that type of environment. And there needs to be like some type of a filter before they can go into there. So before I go into that environment with these rich people, I have to go through these classes and everything like that, and then I can go into that environment. Because it's like, I'm not going to want to be around those people anyway. You know what I mean? Do I really want to be around those people? Do I really want to be in that environment? Do I really want to sit there and have to look at this fork and that fork and whatever? You know what I mean? These social cues. Do I really want to be that disciplined? No, I'd rather just live in a different environment. I don't want to be around those people. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I'm already exhausted. I already don't want to be here. I already don't feel like there's any I'm using spite to be motivated. I'm not even using hope. I'm not even using positive things to get me motivated. I'm using negativity to get me motivated. I want to get in decent shape for my health, for sure. But because I want to be able to reject women. Because I want to walk past them and I want them to, be interested in me. And them to feel like, wow, he doesn't even give a damn if I exist. Which I kind of already am getting to that point. But I want it to be, it's on a small scale, but I want it to be on a bigger scale. I want to be able to go past 7s and 8s, not just the ones that think that they are, the ones that actually are in reality. You look at this woman, you're like, okay, she's a really good looking woman, and I want them to have interest in me, and me just to walk past like they don't exist. That's my motivation. It's not because, oh, maybe I can get her to be my girlfriend or wife one day. That's not my motive. It used to be. It used to be oh, you want to try to, get the hottest woman you can, the prettiest woman you can to be your and to me it's no, man, they're kind of useless. The hotter they are, it's yeah, she looks good, but it's, it's like getting a new car. You get old. That gets old. You get used to it. And then you have to deal with all that crap that she brings to the table, or brings nothing to the table besides her looks. And that's where a lot of women are at. It's the better looking they are, the more useless they are for especially a long-term relationship. And it's like you're looking at the society, and it's like trying to do a lot of things at the same time. It's like, you might as well just make prostitution legal at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done that. I've never done that. I've never, But, you think to myself, maybe I want a receipt. You put all this show on for them, and then all of a sudden, they flip the script. I don't want to have to save, text. Oh, I'm good. I don't want to even sleep around, man. That's not what I want to do. I did. It's like, for me at this point, I'm pretty low maintenance. For me, it's more because it would be nice, to come home and the woman's excited to see me. Like the old days, the house is nice. You got a nice warm meal cooked for you, but that's not reality. Man, I just seen a video. This woman did a reaction, but it was pretty interesting. The original video. She was a mother of 3. Well, she is a mother of 3, and she's 32. She said, my husband is hardworking, he's good, he's loyal. Said all these he's amazing. And she wanted to divorce him. She's like, I don't know who I am. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're most likely a daughter, probably a sister, a friend. What do you mean you don't know what you are? What are you trying to be? Like, you've already made that choice of being all those things. Like, what exactly do you want to do? Just throw all that? Like, they just want to have it all because, like, our mainstream media and social media just makes them, I want to be an influencer. I want to be like J-Lo. I want to be, you want to be like J-Lo? You want to be some 60-year-old woman dressed like in a thong? Is that what you really want to be? Because you have all these adoring fans. Like, you do have you have real love in your life. Oh, because that's kind of boring and monotonous. That's the trade-off, okay? You have your family. What else do you need? You can't have it all, man. You can't have it all. But they're being pushed. And not only because, like, they're raised horribly, because they have weak or non-existing fathers, but then the media pushes this on them. Oh, you got to be this, you got to be that. You don't need a man. They're pushing us to be divided. Why? Why is that cool? I think that, when I was, okay, check this out. Let me see. Now, I'm going to ask AI. This is what I'm going to do. This is, whatever. I'm going to ask AI. Okay. I'm going to use Grok, and I'm going to say, which one is the least harmful? Social media, marijuana, sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, or chewing tobacco. So this is what I asked. It's probably all backwards, right? Let's see which is the less harmful. And I've asked it before this, and it said, because I put porn in there, it said that porn was the least harmful. And let's see what it says. Real time. Let's see what it says. It's thinking. It's thinking. It's thinking. Because this is going to surprise you. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, like pro marijuana, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you guys already know that I have no problem with marijuana. Except for, not no problem. Like, in moderation is the best. Like, alcohol and cigarettes, smoking tobacco ranks as the most harmful amongst these, following closely by chewing tobacco, sugar, social media, and especially marijuana ranked the lowest scientifically metrics. That's kind of weird how it said that. Let's see. Alcohol is a top overall harm score in multiple expert panels. Cigarettes, extremely high mortality and dependence, cause along. We all know that. Chewing tobacco, highly addictive, like throat cancer, stuff like that. Sugar, especially excess, ultra processed foods, drives obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease. Social media. This is what nobody talks about. Behavioral problematic use, high rates in youth, risky, pathologically used for more common than risky than risky cannabis, alcohol, and some teen studies. Depression, anxiety, poor self-perception, sleep issues, body image problems, possible contributions to rising youth mental health crisis and suicide. Marijuana, lowest harm amongst the psycho activities. Listed expert rankings. Dependence, 9%. Essentially no overdose deaths. Can I say the word? Oh my goodness. Respiratory risk if smoked. Possible cognitive effects evaluated. Psychosis risk vulnerable people, especially heavy adolescent use. Some medicinal applications. Context and caveats. Let's see. So social media is more harmful than weed. Social media is more harmful than weed. Depends on the age group and the harm. Let's see. Blah 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 in depth. For the average adult using cannabis, it's because like they say younger people are more susceptible to, if they use more marijuana, they could develop what is that? Schizophrenia if they use it a lot. But what it seems like for adults, we're more susceptible, not susceptible, but young people are more susceptible. Why I think that they're more susceptible to stuff like that is because their prefrontal cortex is still developing. So the whole social media thing, it's interesting. You can look it up yourself. That was Grok, but I asked them both the other day, Grok and Gemini I use, because they're free. But it said that marijuana was the least harmful and social media was more harmful. But, adults are more adept. But social media is worse than marijuana. Not physically, but after all, all those things that it was saying. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and it's not like marijuana. There's no harm to it. Not saying that at all. I don't think it cures cancer or anything like that. I think it might numb some things and give people appetites, especially if they are going through chemo. But sugar, it said sugar is more harmful, social media is more harmful. And it's just pretty interesting that nobody talks about that. And I'm not trying to talk about marijuana being the less harm, but it shows how harmful social media is to our society. And given the fact of what social media is, what it's evolved into, which is pretty much just junk, I don't really trust it. I passively go on Twitter and see like what some current events are, or like, I found out about the Bitcoin fiasco from Twitter, but then I'll use AI and I'll be like, hey, is this what's going on? Because I'm not going to sit here and go on Google and just like sit here and read all these articles that are behind a paywall, by the way. So I have to pay for all these newspaper subscriptions or whatever. No, I just use AI, be like, hey, what's going on? Is it 100% foolproof? No. But like, are you just going to believe whatever goes viral? Oh, the viral, and that's what it does. When you see something viral, you see all these views on it. It's like, wow, that's got to be legit. This is what I'm talking about. I just want things to be easy. I don't want left or right. I just want the facts. What I perceived the news to be when I was growing up on mainstream TV. Just to like tell me what is going on. I don't need to know your opinion of this person and this person, and they're all fighting back and forth. They're an expert in this, they're an expert in that. No, I just need to know the facts, what's going on, and I can think for myself. No, we don't have that. I can't trust any of that. I can't trust the finances. I can't trust the government. I can't trust anything, and that's what I can't trust a woman to stay with me long term. Like I said in a couple of my previous videos, I get it if I beat them. I get it if I was a drug addict, if I was breaking the law, if I didn't have a job. I get it. But to be a normal man nowadays, do what you're supposed to do, it's not good enough. It's not. There's no. And the same thing, it's like, these are supposed to be Christians. These people are supposed to be humble. There's no humbleness nowadays. There's no like, wow, man, like, when I get off of work, I feel good about myself because I accomplished. Do I really care about the product I put out when I come home? No, I want to make sure I put out the best product I can. I do. But, I feel like I want to feel like I accomplished something. However, these days I don't have that feeling. I remember when I was on the welfare, working my 40 hours, by the way. I worked my 40 hours to support my family. It's just I didn't get paid enough. So it got subsidized. Some of my life got subsidized because these companies don't want to pay people right. They don't want to pay people a livable wage. Where was I going with this story? Anyway. Oh, yeah. When I got off of it and I was buying everything myself, paying my rent all by myself, and I was paying, like I said, I was paying partial my rent. When I was on the welfare, the apartment was probably like $600, and this was like in 2003 or 2004 or something like that, somewhere around there. It was probably around like 2005. Let's say 2005. The apartment I was staying at, which it wasn't the greatest apartment, it was like $600 a month. Something like that. It might have been $5. I don't know. I never paid full price. But they went based off of how much I made. So I paid, a good chunk of the pay. So a good chunk of my money went to rent. I paid a good chunk of the rent. I think I paid I started out at like $325 or whatever, and the more I got with raises and everything like that, they upped it. And the food stamps, we had so much food stamps, and the more money I made, they took more. So eventually I got a GED. Yes, I dropped out. I made bad decisions. Hey, we all don't come from the best environments. We all don't have a great father. We don't have great. I'm not saying anything bad about my father. I'm just saying he did the best he could, but given the circumstances, it didn't work out with the. Anyway, I didn't have the leadership. He was off raising my brothers. Okay, so he was busy as hell. Did a great job. Basically, what I did with my kids, raised them on my own. So up to after a certain age. So I got off of that, and when I went into the welfare office, I was like, I'm glad we're getting off of this. When we're closing that account, I'm glad I'm getting off of this. Somebody else needs it. And she kind of was like, you know what I mean? I thought I was doing something good, And then I would go home after getting a bunch of groceries that I paid for on my dime because I eventually got a better job. I wasn't just working fast food anymore. Since I got my GED, I got into a warehouse. I was making more money. And, I paid all my bills. I got out of the Section 8. I got into a better place. I come home after, and eventually I just look at the covers like I did that. And I felt good about it. Now I just, and it's not that, this was a long time ago, so I've been off of welfare for a long time. But I use it what it was intended to be used as getting yourself together and getting off of it. Like unemployment. You lose your job, they supplement your life so you get your stuff together, you find something else. I used it how it was intended, not to be on it for the rest of my life. It should be a safety net. That's what it should be. They need to let you save up. That's what they need to do. If you start making more money, they need to pay for everything until you get to a certain point. And they're like, okay, now we're going to start, because we need you to, as long as you have clear goals, okay, you know how hard, you can't save up for a car if you're on welfare. You can't do any of that. You know how hard it is to save money when you're on welfare? You can't. It's a trap. Unless you find something better. And at that time I was thinking to myself, I might go into medical, become a nurse. I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to do any of that stuff though, man. I don't really. But, the environment we're in now, we don't know what jobs are going to be there. You don't know, like, the student loan you take on and everything like that, if it's like going to be a detriment to your life. I hear horror stories of people just paying off the minimal payment, and then they end up paying for like 5 years, and then it's like they didn't pay nothing and they owe more. I don't know if that's true, if that's just social media lying to me like it usually does, but this is what I'm talking about. And I think that people are gonna start their own little algorithm communities where, and I think this is probably the most healthy thing to do, is you have current events that come through, but we don't need to know everything about everything that's happening all the damn time. We need to have some stability. We don't need to be thinking about finances all the time. I want to be able to put my stuff somewhere and not have to worry about it. Like, this is the whole point of the 401k. And you don't want to have to worry about it. You don't want to have to think about it all the time, man. But I think social media has really wrecked society. I think it really has. That's probably the number one reason why things are all messed up right now is social media. It's women don't care about getting validation like in real life. Now, that if they want to get, like, the affection for a lot of them isn't like the cuddling and the holding, it's the guy come over that like has sex with her and just like gives her the most amazing sex, and she's really attracted to him, and then he fucking leaves. Like, that's their affection nowadays. Not all, but this is a lot of women, or a rotation of guys that does this. They're essentially sharing a guy. He goes, and I've done this. I've been that guy. Not on like having like I'm like clavicular over here, like this guy just like kissing and hanging out with like these beautiful women. It's just women at my level. You know what I mean? But that doesn't happen anymore, especially after COVID. And I'm not complaining because I don't want that. That was bad. You know why I was doing that? It's because I was trying to hide from things. I was trying to hide from traumas and distract myself. That's why I was doing that, because I wasn't raised in the proper environment, the proper emotionally invested environment where a child can thrive. No, the environment I was raised in was highly chaotic. Not like having the cops and seeing my mom get beat all the time. No, but the moving around didn't fucking help out at all. Constant moving around. You make a friend, boom. I remember when I was in 4th grade, I'm like, dude, there's no point to make friends anymore. I kind of got settled and made some good friends, and then I had to leave them. And it's like, what's the point of making friends anymore? Because I'm just going to leave again. So it was a chaotic environment. Go visiting my real dad once a year, or at one point it was on the weekends, which was cool, but there was no stability. And this is pretty normal nowadays. It pisses me off when I hear these women say, "Oh, I put my kids first," and it's like they all blame the guy for everything. I'm the Tates. They blame the guy for everything. They don't take any responsibility for what they've done to a relationship. Yeah, maybe the guy did most of the damage. Maybe he was a piece of crap, but you know, there's two sides of the story. Maybe she did some things that he didn't like. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like things weren't good enough for her when they were great. You don't know both sides of the story. And for the way women are, like I use that example, and I've used my own experience as examples in the last couple of videos. Especially that one talking about, you know, how men feel nowadays or whatever. Anyways, a couple of videos ago, how women just, they say they want a good man, like but then they get one and it's not good enough for them. It's such a, I think it's because they're jaded. I think most women, especially if they're single, you just have to look at them as they got to be jaded. They're probably not going to be able to bond with me. The littlest thing they can just leave me over. You know? This is why I don't categorize all the women, but because I think that the good ones are already taken. All the ones that are single or you know, you're like, oh, they're probably messed up. They're, you know, they make themselves look good, but they haven't done any type of internal work. You know how much internal work I've done in my lifetime? I've probably done more internal work than like 10 people put together. Like 10 lifetimes. Compared to most people. How much traumas I've overcome, and some of them I probably will never overcome. How much I've got to know myself, why I make the choices, why I do things the way they do, why I think the way I do. They don't do any of that. No, what happens is they just replace with another guy. Whether it's social media, you know, they're on their little lives, blah, 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 and they have all this validation constantly. They post a little picture that is probably filtered. And it's demoralizing. Yeah. I think it's highly risky to trust these women that they will actually stay in a long-term relationship nowadays. I think it's highly risky, and I don't blame Gen Z men for not. When I look at women, I mean, for me, I've been, like I said, I haven't been perfect. I'm sure I've hurt, you know, plenty of women, not intentionally, and the women that I've been hurt by, I'm sure it wasn't like they maliciously tried to hurt me. If they really wanted to, they could have. I mean, if they could have just sent me like a sex video of them with somebody else. If they really wanted to hurt me, you know what I mean? When I was at that time where the first of the breakup was like, and that's the last thing you want to see. So I don't think it was maliciously. It was just they, you know, wanted self-interest. And I think a lot of women just don't know what the hell that they want anyway. Like that one woman, I don't know who I am. You're a mother, you're a wife. Like, what do you mean? What are you trying to be? And like I said before, if I had a daughter, I would, when she was a teenager, I would lay it out to her saying, hey, listen, do you want to be a feminist boss babe, whatever they're called, boss bitch? Or do you want to be a wife and a mother? Do you want kids? Well, okay, there's going to be things that you have to sacrifice. So if you want to be that boss, the boss woman, you're probably not going to have the best relationship. You might have kids, but maybe you won't. But you might not have the best relationship with them because you're going to be at work. You're not going to be able to raise them. Like, they literally are part of you. Like, when you have a baby, they're attached to you. They're literally, they have to cut the cord. It's not like they just fall out. No, they're attached. There's a cord attached. They have to sever umbilical cord for them to be independent. They're kind of a parasite. Not a, I know it's bad to think of them like that, but they are. The mom is the host, and then the baby's like, that's what they literally are until we severed the cord. And you have to. You can't just stay in there forever. You can't just eventually they come out on their own. You can't just leave the cord intact. You know what I mean? So you have to cut the cord. Well, a lot of these women have the mindset like, I can't wait to get back to work. I can't wait to get behind those cubicle walls or my office or whatever they're doing. Instead of like nurturing their baby, making their baby feel warm, making their baby feel comfortable. Like, do you think that the baby doesn't feel the mother not there? That's what they need to have their mother in their lives, taking care of them, getting up with them in the middle of the night. The breastfeeding, like, I can't do that. Naturally, the women are supposed to breastfeed the baby, not get formula. That's a new thing. They're supposed to breastfeed them. Like, they didn't have formula in the old days. They didn't have fridges where you can save your breast milk. No, the woman had to take care of the baby. And the guy, since they were in that vulnerable state, the guy had to protect. The guy had to make sure he brought the resources in, working sun up to sun down on the crops, whatever, to make sure that they can. She was busy. And this is the problem with these women nowadays. They just don't want to do that. They don't appreciate that time. They don't appreciate motherhood. They think it's a burden. And it's like, no, like, because they've been brainwashed. They've been raised in a chaotic environment. They haven't been raised in a loving environment. Like, most women, your purpose on this planet is to be a mother. That's your purpose. I'm sorry that you're upset with that, but that's just the way it is. To be a mother. But they want to have it all. Oh, well, I can have it all. No, you can't. Something's gonna suffer. Yeah, you become a mother. Say if you became, and yes, you could make it. But the problem, like, oh, you can make it. You can make it off of one income. The problem is you're not going to have all the fancy stuff of the modern tech, the new days. You're not going to be able to keep up with the Joneses, and they don't have that mentality. They have the mentality where I need to be Kim Kardashian. I need to be rich and famous. I need to have this. I need to have that. No, you just need to be able to, the number one thing you should do is raise your kids. That should be number one thing to you. The number one thing to a dad that goes to work and slaves away for his family is to protect his family and provide the resources for his family. No, but we live in a society where I have to be, the guy, somebody like me, goes to work working a mundane job, not a glamorous job. Oh. Are they really your friends? Are they? And I understand like the security, but if you have a good man and he is working his butt off to provide, and yes, your life might not be the most glamorous. You might not have the most things like the boomers want you to have, that your boomer parents want you to have. Oh, the brand new car or the biggest house you can get. You get a nice house. Oh, we need to redo this, and it's like, no, I think the kitchen works pretty well for right now. I mean, if there was a huge problem like holes in the floor, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and fix that. But we don't need to remodel everything continuously. And this is their mindset. They want to keep having more and more and continue. It's like I've seen these women there's this woman I seen on Twitter yesterday, like, guys shouldn't have this app, this app, this app, this app, and that app. Was like Twitter, all these different social media. It's like, well, how do you think that you have any type of a following, basically? And you have other women say, like, oh, guys shouldn't play video. Like, who cares if he plays video? If he's going to work, handling his business, he should come home and if you stay home or vice versa, and they're not making any money, they should have to take care of the house and the kids. That's their job. It's not the woman goes to work and the guy's a stay-at-home husband or whatever, and she has to come and help out with the house chores. Now, you know, interact with the kids for sure, but it should be our, like, whoever stays at home. This is the problem, is we don't have people as we need a, you wonder why childcare is so expensive, is because, like, you're outsourcing your raising your kid to somebody else. When they get to be old enough, like teenagers, they become highly independent. They don't, they want to be more around their friends. They're growing. But when they're young, they need to have, especially their mother. They need to have their mother from like brand new, just born, to 7, 8, 9, all the way up into teenagers. Right around there, 10, they need to have the mother in their lives. When they get off of school, if they go to public schools, the mother's there. The mother gets them ready in the morning to go to school. So the mother, there's always, whatever you're doing in your life, maybe it's the dad. You need a stay-at-home parent in the damn house. And stop outsourcing, and accept a more humble life. And when me saying that, these same people who are supposed to be religious and followers of Jesus ridicule me for saying that. What do you think Jesus would say? If Jesus was here right now, he'd be saying the same type of stuff as I'm saying. You should live a more humble life. You should accept less physical things because your family is the most important thing. Stuff isn't the most important thing. Trying to impress other people when you're old, like, you do that stuff when you're a teenager, man. You don't do that type of stuff when you're old. I don't care about impressing anybody else at this point. The only person I need to impress at this point is myself. If you don't like me, if you think that I'm less than, this is what you get. I don't care. Don't talk to me. Don't have anything to do with me. I'm fine. And that's the mentality people need to have. Like, hey, if your parents are going to sit here and talk smack about your husband, who's a hard worker, but he doesn't have the most glamorous job, but he handles business, he protects you, they're not very good people. If your friends are ridiculing you and making fun of your husband because of what he does, they're not a good person. Maybe you should get rid of them. They should be supporting you. They shouldn't be like, oh, he isn't this. Look at their life. Like, where's your stability? No, I need to sit here and follow destructiveness. That's where we're at. And a lot of these women have that mindset. They just want to follow destructiveness. Degeneracy. And it's being fueled by the mainstream media and the popularity. It's being, you can see with OnlyFans. It is what it is.